Namaskaram everyone. Welcome to Project Hata. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Samya program. Many of you have asked questions related to the Samya program on our Instagram page. What we have done is we have collected all of the questions and segregated them into different sections. These sections are introduction, which is introduction to Samyama and what is Samyama. The other section is prerequisites, what all programs you need to do for attending Samyama. Next part is preparation, which includes how you should prepare for the program. I'll also share my own experience of how I prepared for Samyama regarding the food, regarding the sadhana, what all you need to do. I'll share that experience as well. The next section is experience. So this includes my own experience of the program. So I just completed Samyama in December 2022. So I'll share how was it for me. And at the last, we have a section for other few questions. So now let's start. So let's start with the first section, that is introduction. So what is Samyama? Sadhguru says, Samyama is the state where you become fully aware that you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are not even the world around. Samyama is an 8-day silence program which Sadhguru conducts by himself. So this is like one of those rare opportunities where you get to attend a program which is actually conducted by Sadhguru. You can go through deep meditative states and once in a lifetime kind of experiences in this program. This program can also reduce a lot of karma and purify your system. So all these possibilities are there in Samyama. Sadhguru says previously Samyama was offered to a very particular group of people who were like super dedicated to their guru. And after a lot of time, a process like Samyama was given to the disciples of a guru. Sadhguru has opened up this opportunity for all of us who are doing Isha practices regularly and want to go into deeper states of meditation, want to explore our own inner nature. Sadhguru says Samyama is a synthesis of Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. He says that Samyama is not something that you can do on your own. You need a guru for Samyama. So that's why we have to make ourselves available for Samyama to happen so that Sadhguru can conduct Samyama for us. That's what I understand. I may or may not be correct. So now there are some prerequisites. You cannot just attend Samyama whenever you feel like. So for attending Samyama, you must have done inner engineering, Shunya, BSP and Hatha Yoga, which includes Surya Kriya and Yogasanas. All this is the prerequisite for Samyama program. You should be practicing for at least 60 days before the program starts. So when you apply for Samyama program, there will be a pre-Samyama meet. So in that pre-Samyama meet, they will give you instructions for how to prepare for Samyama. There will be an interview. In the interview, they'll ask you few questions which are related to your commitment, your aspiration to be a part of Samyama. Do you have enough time to prepare for Samyama? How much dedicated you are? Once you clear the interview, then you will get a notification that you are eligible to attend Samyama and you can start preparing. Now the bonus tip here is once you give your interview, you don't wait for the final confirmation. You start preparing. So for Samyama preparation, you need to follow a certain guidelines in terms of your sadhana, in terms of the food that you will be consuming. So for preparation, we have a few questions which some of you have asked. So I'll just answer them now. So one of the person has asked, did you buy white clothes, mattress and blanket from Isha Life? All the white clothes I have bought from Isha Life. Blanket I have just rented from the Isha Foundation. So they provide the blanket, mattress, pillow, everything on rent. The next question is, how much preparation is enough? Everyone says the more you prepare, the better. So how much preparation is enough? Actually, the more you prepare, the better. And 60 days are the least amount of time that Sadhguru has given us for preparing for something as big as Samyama. So few people were also asking about suggestions for preparation. Make sure you do your sadhana, which will be mentioned in the pre-Samyama meet. You make sure you do your Hatha Yoga, you make sure you do your Kriyas, do your Shunya, do Sukha Kriya, follow the diet. Few people actually don't focus much on the diet and they just focus on the sadhana, but that is also a very important part of the program. So just try to make sure that you are able to follow the diet, adhere to all the dietary restrictions that are there at least for 60 days. Basically, by following all these things, your system will be at ease. There will be no resistance in your system. It will become very easy for you to go through the program and be actually available for what Sadhguru has to offer in the program. So just make sure that you prepare for all these things. Just do whatever is instructed. So now let's come to the next part. That is the experience. How was Samyama for me? How was my experience in Samyama program? Samyama is something I wanted to do since I got into Isha. So I first looked at all the programs that are there in Isha. Shambhavi Mahamudra, Shakti Jalana Kriya, Shunya, BSP and Samyama. From day one, I wanted to do Samyama and wanted to experience what happens in Samyama. How is it being with Sadhguru for 8 days in his presence and in silence? You are not allowed to talk or communicate in any way. So many of you have asked questions related to my experience in Samyama. So now I'll just go through all these questions, then we'll answer them accordingly. One of the questions is which limitations you break in Samyama. If I think about limitation in particular, nothing is coming to my mind. What kind of limitations I broke? Maybe after some time I'll realize it. As such, in terms of limitations, I can't say any limitation I broke. How was your experience of Samyama? What actually happens? So what actually happens in the program, I would not be able to tell you. I also don't want to hamper the experience of your own Samyama. If you want to know what happens in Samyama, attend Samyama and do it. Whatever happens in Samyama stays in Samyama. So you also keep it that way and make sure you don't reveal out the content of the program in any way. How was my experience of Samyama? For me, Samyama happened like it just happened in a blink. I was able to go through the program with ease. I didn't find any difficulty going through the program. For me, it was like quite easy in terms of the physical part of it. So physically there was no resistance. I was able to follow all the instructions which were given in the program. For me, whenever I go to attend any of the Isha Yoga program, this one thing I have kind of made it clear in my mind. Once I reach Isha Yoga Center for a particular program, I don't use my mind. I just surrender to the process and just simply follow whatever the instructions are. So in Samyama also, whatever Sadhguru was saying to do, I was just focusing on that. There were a lot of things happening around. Whatever was true for me, whatever was happening for me was there. I was just kind of trying to follow the instructions. I just made sure that I just do that and then whatever happens, let it happen. I was not particularly concerned about having a certain experience or I had no expectation out of the program. Like I just wanted to do Samyama. Whatever happens in Samyama, I'll do it. Whatever Sadhguru says, I'll do it. With that kind of mindset, I entered Samyama. Yeah, experience wise, I was fairly stable throughout the program. I was following all the processes, maintaining silence. I was able to go through the program with ease and only on second last day while Sadhguru was leaving and while he was leaving, there was a certain chant by Sounds of Isha. They were singing that and I was just sitting with my eyes closed and suddenly, I started crying and tears started coming out of my eyes. Why this happened? I don't know. It was not that I was feeling sad, or I was feeling very emotional. Just like that it came. So I don't know what was the reason behind that. I was not restricting anything. So whatever is happening, I let it happen. Tears came out. I automatically started crying. Not like very loud. So it's like normal and tears were coming out. So I was just sitting and it happened. It happened like for 4 or 5 minutes. Then it stopped. And then I continued and followed what was said in the program as the next step. So yeah, for me the program was kind of once in a lifetime experience that can happen. This is something like very powerful and it does not happen to all the beings. I find myself very fortunate to be, in situations where the time is correct and I'm able to get into these things. So yeah, that was kind of the experience of Samyama for me and I'm very grateful to Sadhguru for giving me an opportunity to attend something as grand, as big like Samyama. If you are more spiritually inclined and you want to explore depth of spirituality, then Samyama is for you. And this is something I wanted to do from the starting and I had this inclination. Samyama happened in a beautiful way. It happened in a blink. I don't know how these 8 days passed by and we were just at the end of the program. So that was the experience of Samyama. What was your first view experience soon after Samyama? I was more aware, I can say. More aware of my breath, more aware of my thoughts. Did you feel ecstasy that Sadhguru talks about? What was different about it that you have never experienced? Answer to this question is, I don't know. I don't know what is the answer to that question is. I would also like to share one incident which happened after the program was completed. We were all out of the program and then we were allowed to communicate. One person came up to me and then, he said, Namaskaram Anna. I was like, Namaskaram. And he said, Anna, I was just sitting beside you. So then I was like, oh, Namaskaram Anna, Namaskaram. So then he was like, Anna, I saw you. You were sitting just like a rock and I was very inspired by you. I also tried to push myself, but it became a little difficult for me to go through the program because I had a lot of pain. I was not able to completely sit with ease during the program. But looking at you, it was like really inspiring for me. And he also took my number and asked for classes if I do classes and if I can teach him all the other practices of Hatha Yoga as well. Also, I don't know whether Samyama happened to me or not. I just kind of tried to follow the process. Now, whether it happened to me or it didn't happen, this Sadhguru knows. I also just like to keep it that way. So we are done with the 4 sections, that is introduction, prerequisite, preparation and experience. Now there were a few more questions which didn't fall into those 4 categories according to me. So I just kept them separate. Now let's look at all those questions and I'll try to answer them. How long do I need to sit without pain? You should be able to sit comfortably. You should be able to sit without pain only, right? You also try to sit in Ardha Siddhasana as much as you can. That will go a long way when you actually enter the program. So while you are eating, while you're working, sit on the floor, try to get comfortable in Ardha Siddhasana as much as you can. Next question is, do we feel cold in Samyama? Yes, it might get cold during the night. So just make sure you keep warm clothing with you. Can we still prepare if there are some current physical problems like digestive issues? You just ask this question in pre-Samyama meet, or even if you want to ask, so there will be WhatsApp groups created according to your region. So just ask that coordinator of the WhatsApp group that you are having this problem. Is it a different state of being like Bhavaspandana or a particular practice? I don't know. I'm not sure. So whatever I'm saying is coming from my own experience and it's true for me, and whatever is not true for me, I cannot say that. I don't know about that. But in Samyama, there will be a practice after the program. Is Samyama offered free at Isha? Yes, Samyama is the program which is offered free. So there is no cost for Samyama. That is actually a very big privilege. We are actually getting to receive this practice which will take us through life and death for free. So this is a blessing, and this is one of those rare things that you can get on this planet right now. So the next question is there a right time to do Samyama? I have read the prerequisite but still asking. The right time to do Samyama, I don't know what is the right time to do Samyama. You just make sure that you fulfill all the prerequisite, in terms of the practices that you need to learn. Just make sure that that is there. Also, you have that longing, right, to do the program. If you have that longing, if you have done everything, you want to do it, then I'll say just go for it, prepare for it. This opportunity you might not get all the time. So if you are able to check all the prerequisites, you have enough commitment, you want to do it, just go for it. If you are ready, then just do it. How does one know that they are ready for Samyama? So same question I just answered. Just see for yourself if you have that inclination, if you want to go deep into these dimensions of life, if you are able to cope up with the preparation, if you are able to fulfill the prerequisite, if there is enough longing, you just look within yourself. If you want to do it, then just do it. How was your experience of staying away from social media for 4 weeks? So staying away from social media for 4 weeks, I feel like I can drop off and come back to social media whenever I want. For me, there was no struggle. Also, if you are preparing for Samyama, try to see that you reduce the consumption of social media. Just keep it to the minimum. Focus on your sadhana, focus on your preparation. That's the best thing that you can do for Samyama preparation. So reduce that. So that's all. We have covered all the questions for Samyama. If you have more such questions, you can let me know. I would be able to help you. If you're preparing for Samyama, I wish you all the best. Make sure to prepare well. Give yourself fully to the process. Go all into it. Namaskaram.